Hey there, this is That News You Care About, a weekly video game news show from the folks over at That Nerdy Site. Today is Monday, June 8th, 2020, and I'm one of your hosts, Logan Wilkinson. Joining me for today's episode is my Phoenix son, Trevor Starkey. How you doing, Trevor?
This is interesting because you have two Phoenix Suns on the episode this week.
I know, yeah, I have to figure out something else for Cameron real quick. Also joining me, the just mentioned That Nerdy Games editor, Cameron Abbott. Perhaps my Arizona Diamondback. We'll work on that one in progress here.
Please, I don't like the Diamondbacks, so please don't.
By
the way, let's
He's
your Arizona
Mets
Cardinal
fan, boys. Oh yeah.
A Mets fan? Oh, you're a Met? Oh, well, that doesn't Arizona Met. We'll work on that one. And also joining us this week is Rene Castro. How are you, Rene?
Good.
Awesome.
Better now.
All over the internet, Rene here. How is everybody doing this week?
The week
Bad,
is young,
Logan.
so
Yeah, bad. Yeah.
so far not terrible, I guess, on my end. But like
There you go.
the weekend was real tough.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, Logan, if you had told me that this was the Upside Down,
Sure. We
from
made
Stranger Things, I'd say
Yeah.
it seems too nice to be the Upside Down.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the Upside Down. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It seems not nice enough to be the Upside Down. The Upside Down's nicer than this.
The Upside Down is prime real estate.
Oh yeah, I would much prefer to be dealing with Lovecraftian type creatures from a shadowy abyss than the nightmare
brutality?
hellscape. The nightmare hellscape we currently live in.
Yeah, it's been a week. Just like last week, where we began the pod with a brief statement about Black Lives Matters and all of the protests around the country. This week we also decided to begin with another kind of statement and kind of our brief thoughts on everything happening. As another week has kind of come and gone, all of us collectively at That Nerdy Site, I know that Ben and Chloe with that Wannabe Film Class already kind of had an entire podcast dedicated to this. And then myself, as host of That News You Care About, found it impossible to not comment on all the events kind of upending the nation and all of the kind of the profound change I think we're witnessing before our eyes. George Floyd's murder at the hands of the members of the Minneapolis Police Department has sparked a wave of protests and cries for police accountability, reform, and equality before the law, and true justice for all peoples of this country at a scale and scope not seen in decades. Probably not since the Civil Rights Movement 5 decades ago, in fact. Its ripple effects have roiled through film, music, sport, and yes, games. And in the wake of these protests going global in scale and effect, and also to beginning to achieve real change, Minneapolis, in fact, its city council has announced that they're going to dismantle its police department. Myself and the other members of this podcast decided to yet again reiterate our support of all people protesting, donating, marching, and any other form of activism that they've been partaking in these past 2 weeks, who've helped to usher in a moment of profound possibilities and conversations about the world we wish to live in and the unequivocal stance that Black Lives Matter. Before we begin, I do want to repeat what I said last week. To all our non-Black listeners, I urge you to seek out voices from Black content creators across the industry, listen to what they have to say, hear them, and learn what their experience of being an African American within this country, let alone this industry, is like. We will include links to different podcasts, conversations, content creators, or written features from Black creators and writers across the industry within our show notes, alongside links to Black Lives Matter organizations you can donate to as well. I would also urge you to, again, listen to the Spawn on Me conversation. Emmett Watkins, Cameron Hawkins has been making the rounds. Blessed and Adiohe did numerous podcasts on Kinda Funny. And the Kinda Funny, I believe, show or Kinda Funny podcast this past week was centered around this entire topic as well.
Yep.
There are a ton of conversations happening across the industry and out to the industry that I urge all of our listeners to go listen to as well. And I would urge you to seek them out and listen. Because as for non-Black guys, I think our opinions are mostly just going to be that, to listen to others, to learn from their experiences, and to try to echo and champion what they're demanding as much as we can.
If I could add one more podcast.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, anybody who's in our sphere kind of knows, at least offhand, Rooster Teeth, which is a massive content creator media company out of Austin, Texas, where
Yeah.
Logan lives.
Yes.
They're massive. They've been around for
2 decades at this point.
yeah,
Yeah.
like 20 years, I think. So, it came out recently that the lack of support for people of color, particularly when Mika Burton took a stand against online harassment, was her primary reason for actually leaving the company. And additionally, so there was actually there was a very incredible discussion being done by the Achievement Hunter crew themselves. I mean, guys who are normally known for being like old internet boys.
Yeah.
They took a very serious stand at a very serious moment to allow their cast member, their fellow Fiona, who is a black woman of color who's also gay, who basically the complete opposite of a cis white man. So she was able to speak out and was very honest about her experience with the community and her experience, like the community that she is the audience that she was introduced to as a cast member, and also they kind of discuss the evolution of why companies like Rooster Teeth may not have been so proactive about it. And I'm sorry, if you hear children yelling in the background, it's because there are children yelling in the background. Or crying now. Anyway, but they talk about, and I think it's a very important point for when they talk about online harassment, about kind of the evolution and now the current modern standpoint, which is, you take a stand and you shut that down and you don't let that be part of your community. You say, if you want to do this, get out of our community. And they go into much better explanation of it, but the best part about it is that there's not a diatribe or a soapbox that anybody stands on to be like, I'm woke, etc., etc. It's all about accepting responsibility, and you're part of being part of the problem, as well as hearing from somebody who has dealt with the harassment and dealt with the prejudice of an online community that honestly, when somebody new joins the community or the company, at Kind of Funny, I feel like there's a very overwhelming embrace of that. I don't know if it's just because it's so small that it's able to do that, but also I don't know because if somebody's an asshole, I block them and I move on with my life, because I don't have time for that bullshit. But anyway, to the point of what I was saying, I got lost there for a second. I apologize. But yeah, go check out Off Topic. They just put it out. It was 3 days ago. So Off Topic 236. It is a very frank and open and honest discussion about this issue, as well as the larger issue of the culture at a company like Rooster Teeth. That it's important to know, they're an important part of internet media in general. So, yeah, it's good.
I think a final thing that's important to note as well is that the black experience in this country isn't a monolith, which is why it's so important to seek out diverse opinions from all kinds of African American thought leaders and creators and writers and just regular people on the internet, and listen to what they have to say and seek out whether it is a straight male or a gay woman or everything in between those two extremes, to seek out as many possible kind of diverse opinions and learn or try to learn as much as you can from all their own experiences within the country.
Yeah, I would echo. So another show that I listened to in the last week was the What's Good Games.
What's Good Games, yes.
Podcast that where Rihanna Manuel kind of led a conversation with her fellow kind of What's Good Games crew as their African American kind of representative, and she talks a lot in that like she lets basically the other girls kind of really express what they've been feeling, in part because Rihanna, she kind of talks about how she's very exhausted being the like representative and being the person that people are going to and asking for questions, and so I would say that yes, absolutely seek out seek out what you can, and recognize that you can be the person that is seeking out this information. There are plenty of resources out there. You don't have to put it on. It's not fair for us to put it on, our black friends to help educate us on this kind of stuff.
Yes. There was a really good Twitter thread. I can't remember who by, but that kind of illustrated this point of basically all of their like white friends were reading these books and watching these documentaries, whatever, and then coming back to them about, what about this and that and this and that and this and that and this? And again, it's not their responsibility to transform minds and hearts in the country, and being aware of that as well.
It's also not helpful.
People also
right?
just need some space.
Like you're kind of responsible for your own education, right? Like it's
100%. Yeah.
It's never fair to like walk up to somebody with your like hands like, hey, teach me. Well, I mean, yeah, have a conversation,
teach me how to be a better person. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe get active here.
I would also add that if you are just learning about this stuff, you're playing catch up. Don't put it on other people, especially people who lived through this, to walk you through it, like holding your hand, because if you like, it's now your responsibility to catch up with it, because that's the case. Like, don't expect others to like be there for you. Like, if they are great, wonderful, appreciate them, tell them you appreciate them for that. But it's not their responsibility, it's yours at the end of the day, like what Rene was saying.
Yeah, 100%. So again, all of those links will be included in the show notes, and all the kind of different organizations will also be there. That list is only getting bigger, that we kind of keep adding to with every episode and with every week, which is amazing to see. As you kind of try to keep building this momentum and not make it just a temporary, like 1 or 2 week flash in the pan, but a profound kind of continual change within the industry, and the larger nation. Now, and a fairly hard pivot, PlayStation 5.
2 weeks in a row we make that hard pivot.
Yeah, it's a hard pivot, but PlayStation has announced that its PS5 reveal event that they delayed last week will take place this Thursday. And so myself, Cameron, Trevor, and Rene all sat down and wrote up 4 predictions with, I'm sure we all have numerous backups as well to go. Predictions for what we think the PS5 reveal event will be and showcase and reveal, in fact. Cameron, you will go first. We're each going to have 4 predictions, round-robin style, so we'll go one at a time with our first prediction, then one at a time with our second, third, and fourth. We are keeping track of these in a point system for whenever the event happens on Thursday. We'll probably have an immediate kind of post-game show and tally up the points up, see who the winner is. So Cameron, you get to start us off with the very first prediction for the PS5 reveal event.
All right, so I'm going to start. This one is very special, and I had a lot of ideas behind it. And I want to take you. It's going to be brief, so bear with me.
Okay.
But it is a bit of a journey. So
that's not.
Can it be brief and a bit of a journey, though? Is my question.
No. Because I'm not. Wait for it.
No,
all right.
Cameron. Period. Can't be brief. So it's always going to be a journey. That's always the assumption.
I mean,
it wasn't The Hobbit a brief journey.
It was an unexpected journey. So imagine, if you will, the sun is rising.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Good Lord.
And
set the scene. No, do it. Yeah.
And walking out from a Mayan-like temple comes Mark Cerny.
Oh.
All right.
He comes walking out and climbs stairs to the very top of this structure. And at the top, tied down, is a Sony EIC intern.
Why is this? Why are we allowing this? Why did you let Cameron start this off?
And Shuhei Yoshida's there as well. They've tied the intern down, although the intern is noticeably not resisting. He knows what his purpose is. He's okay with this.
Is there an apple in his mouth?
No.
Okay.
Ooh, good question.
It is shut with firm determination about the task that is before him.
Good.
Shuhei Yoshida passes Mark Cerny a platinum knife. Mark Cerny plunges the knife into the intern's chest, cutting it open.
Don't
reaching his
Don't
his
make
hand,
that be your response here, Logan. That is a bad response to that.
Keep going.
He
Cam.
reaches his hand into the chest of the Sony intern. They make eye contact because it's important for Mark Cerny to recognize the sacrifice this intern is making.
Okay.
And Mark Cerny lifts the heart of the intern out of the chest, still beating its last few beats. And Mark Cerny turns to a massive crowd of people and throws his hand up, and he says, "Knack 3 for the Knack gods."
There we go. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
So
Knack 3's
remember when this started out with "This will be brief"?
I know, right?
It's not my fault you guys kept asking questions.
No.
To be
Without
ask questions,
take our
though.
questions out of that. That was a 3-minute description to a dumbass prediction, Cameron.
Knack 3 will be at the event. Mark it down. Mitchell Morgan, we have our first prediction.
I don't
Knack 3.
think Mitchell Morgan is paying any attention to our prediction.
Mitchell Morgan's not keeping track of our predictions too? Oh man, okay, well.
Oh, and by the way, I forgot to say, Mark Cerny, when he's taking the heart out, says, "Kalima."
But also,
Indiana Jones reference.
Given that prediction, if Knack 3 shows up, that's like 0.1 points. Because he only gets the full point if this entire sacrificial ritual happens.
I'm okay with that, Trevor.
This man has...
I hate all of this already.
This man has guts. I like it.
Remember when you're like, "Oh, I have some silly, dumb ideas, some silly, dumb predictions."
So again, we have as the official prediction written in the official doc here, Knack 3, in quotes, only full point if Mark Cerny kills a man for the tease, though. So that is how it's going to have to come down to it. Rene.
And part of my prediction is that he has to say Kalima when he takes off.
Kalima as well. Also, I'll include that as well. Rene, you're next. What is your first prediction for the PS5 round?
All right. I want to preface this. It's my first time kind of e-meeting a bunch of you. By a bunch, I mean 2 of you. So I want to make sure that I, give a good impression. And I honestly, I feel like a fish out of water here. All of you are incredibly intelligent about these subjects. So when I sat down to write these predictions, I did a lot of research. I wanted to make sure that I put my best foot forward. And I went to Wall Street Bets. I did the math. I looked at the stars. I really tried to align what I thought was going to happen. So here we go. My first prediction, right out of the gate. Don't be mad if you wrote it down, and I stole it. But I think they're going to announce Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball 5 as one of their launch games. And I think
steal from Xbox?
They're gonna Well, they had the 4th one on the PS. On the PlayStation, in the PlayStation ecosystem.
I'm not as familiar with the Xbox, with the Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball.
Honest to God, neither am I. But funny enough, when you look up Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball, one of the links provided is the Wikipedia article to Jiggle Physics.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing I know about Dead or Alive Volleyball is jiggle physics.
And that is the second part of my prediction, is that they are going to at some point talk about the improved jiggle physics.
Oh, okay.
With how many triangles the PS5 is able to render, I can only imagine the liquidity or the movement of liquidity within mass that is going to be possible for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Before we started recording, there was a conversation around bullshit points because Logan was like, yeah, you better be coming with all the bullshit points you can get. And like Cameron and I think definitely kind of knew what Logan meant by that. But yes, as we have learned, this is what Rene thought bullshit points meant. Is that we're gonna get a Dead or Alive jiggle physics reveal.
Okay.
And, we have different definitions of bullshit.
Yeah.
Dead or Alive beach volleyball 5.
That discrepancy between our definitions of bullshit is very apparent now. I appreciate that, Rene. Also, nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
I have to say, Rene, that's an excellent first impression. Thank you for that.
I think it's a great first prediction for what we're going to see from this reveal event, and I really respect that.
I think it encapsulates who I am really as a person, so you know all you need to know about me.
I also think it's a really good tease for what Sony's really going to be going for with the PlayStation 5, I think. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Anime boobs, anime titties.
And volleyball.
Can't forget
Trevor, you were up next with your first prediction.
All right, I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm the straight-laced one of us. I guarantee it. So I'm trying to figure out which one of mine I'm going to go with here. I will go with the first one I wrote down. So we will get a Soulsborne remastered collection. I don't know if it's going to be called that, but that's going to be what Blue Point has been working on, and it will be not only Demon Souls, but it will also be the rumored Bloodborne remaster. So we'll get basically a package deal of those two remastered for the PlayStation 5.
I like it.
You said which games?
Demon Souls and Bloodborne.
Thank you.
Originally I was like, it'll be all of them. It'll be Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 1 through 3. But then I was like, I feel like they've already remastered like half of the Dark Souls, so maybe not.
It should be interesting because if they do bring Demon Souls with that collection, it'll be the first time that Demon Souls is available post PS3.
That's I know. That's
Yeah.
and it's the long rumored like Blue Point remaster. So
I was gonna ask, is it the Blue
in.
Point remastered also part of the prediction as well?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. The prediction is that Blue Point has remastered Demon Souls and Bloodborne for the PS5.
Okay. Great. I love that. Yeah, I mean, people like those games, so yeah. Hopefully we get that if you like those games. Which
I like those games.
At least half of us don't. But
I'm guessing that's you and Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played through the first boss fight of Bloodborne and was like, you know what? What if I'm just not mad right now instead though?
Yeah.
And I liked that option more. Trevor, I know understands it.
Yeah. I played through the first 24 hours of that game all in one go, and it was not fun.
That
nearly broke me.
Stream, yeah.
Demon Souls is actually the game that convinced me to buy a PS3. So.
That's interesting.
I'm a big fan of it. It is a bit more complicated than you get in Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Just because.
Would you buy this collection if it came out?
Yeah, 100%. Owning Bloodborne on PS5 is going to look gorgeous and beautiful. But to play Demon Souls, which has honestly that entire game is so chock full of really awesome experiences and memories for me. That what most people talk about, like, oh yeah, when I played Dark Souls for the first time, for me it was Demon Souls, which it was a lot less forgiving even. So
we've been talking about kind of doing a series of like in review type game things. So like pick a game franchise and then play through all of them. I look forward to Cameron and Logan doing the Dark Souls in review series.
I like how I got nominated for that one. That was
yeah. No, I sacrificed you to that.
Yeah, very subtle job there. Yeah,
because the in review is the thing you want to kind of spearhead. So I'm definitely making sure I'm not a part of that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, I know I'm not good for those games because I get hella frustrated playing like Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, so I'm just not spiritually equipped to play those games.
Yeah. I very much am the same boat as you.
There's a certain level of masochist you have to be. And I'm there.
It is the level that just happens to be like a perfect Venn diagram with somebody who imagines Mark Cerny and Shuhei Yoshida sacrificing somebody on the Mayan temple.
And Cameron's not that Venn diagram.
Yeah, I'm right there, man.
Every prediction so far has involved a video game, whether Knack 3, Dead or Alive, Beach Volleyball 5, or a Soulsborne remaster. I'm going to be coming out here with the first non-games prediction, which is the price of the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
I think the PlayStation 5 is going to be $425, but no more than $499 at the most. Is my prediction.
Okay. Yeah, my since I won't use this one now because you've already kind of claimed it, my prediction on that front was a November 13th, 2020 release date at $499.
Go on.
No more. Does that also include bundles, or are bundles an exception to that?
Bundles will be an exception, I guess.
I figured it would be. I just figured
yeah.
we should define that at this point.
Yeah.
So that there's no like oh nah later. So.
Logan,
Yeah,
what kind of bundles do you think there'll be?
For the PS5? Oh, God.
Last of Us Part 2, Knack 3, of course. And then
one of the bundles I think that will come is a prediction I will have when I come back to my turn again, so I'll save that for my next turn. Right now,
I would point out that the PS4 didn't have any launch bundles.
You have little faith. Right now, we're back to Cameron again. Cameron, what is your second prediction? God help us.
Cameron, unmute.
Cameron's dead.
Sorry, I was you caught me off guard. I was eating. So picture this. I'm joking. I'm not going to do another one of those.
But I was excited.
No, I'm saying Horizon sequel, Horizon 2, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, Horizon One Morning. You know?
What?
Because it's Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like
I got
morning.
what you're saying, yeah.
LOL.
What's your prediction for Horizon 2? Just that it's shown off?
Yeah, that'll be there in some capacity. It will, quote unquote, reveal itself. So they've been holding off on it for so long. You can only imagine they were waiting for the PS5. So.
Is it a launch game? Is it? Yeah.
I don't know if it's a launch game, but if it's not a launch game, it will be like shortly
release
after
window?
release. Yeah, within a release window will be given for it.
I'm adding that to your thing.
So if it comes out, say the PS4 comes out in fall, it'll be out by holiday, etc.
It sounds like you also had one on Horizon, so I'm curious what yours was, Logan. I have mine that I'll share too.
Mine was that almost like weird enough. Like I was like Horizon 2 will be shown off in some aspect, and then bundled during a holiday season.
Okay. I mean, like I feel like we won't know that. Like those kinds of things, like we wouldn't be able to give you the half point on that until the holiday season. Then.
Well, you know.
He's just shooting himself in the foot.
Mine was Horizon Zero Dawn sequel revealed as a launch title, not called Horizon 1 Dawn or Horizon Zero Dawn 2. It'll be Horizon Zero Dawn : something something. And we'll see some sort of notable landmark indicating the game setting, i.e. the Golden Gate Bridge or Mount Rushmore or an Empire State Building or something like that.
Ooh, Empire State, that'd be so far away from where they're at in the first game. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
I would love, even thinking about this now, I would love if they took Horizon to San Francisco and like had like a Golden Gate Bridge, like that area, like really explored.
See what like a more ruinous kind of location really looks like in this post-world.
I think super fun. Yeah, like millennia later. Yeah. Cameron, that's a good prediction. I'm annoyed by that. Rene, what's your second prediction?
It after my first one.
Exactly. You lulled me into a sense of security. Like I might actually be able to easily beat Cameron here. All right, yeah. Rene, what you got for us?
All right. My second prediction. I think there's going to be way too much attention on the new like haptic feedback controller. Okay. You know what I'm it has that new like trigger on the controller where like that gives resistance depending on what you're doing. I'm sure y'all know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna like feature it, but they're like every single game is gonna like feature attention on it, like how they're like it's just gonna be pero como like way too much atención at the controller, like it's just over the top, and we're gonna get sick of it.
But it ties in with nearly every game. That work for you?
Yeah,
way too much attention to the haptic controller ties in with nearly every game.
So if you need to type this out, then here's what I need you to do: way too much attention, and then put an opening parenthesis, and then put like 10 exclamation points, and then the closing parenthesis.
Okay. Heard that?
Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Like, there's just too much attention on it.
It sucks. I'm also adding a note for you. That felt
All right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's a really interesting one. I'm curious about that. I mean, do you think it's gonna be like when they introduce like the Rumble or something like that, like the 6-axis for the PlayStation 3, right, where we get like Uncharted Drake's fortune? I didn't think about this. Where it's like just go across the bridge while like holding your controller steady, kind of thing. But it's in everything. That's what I want.
What a nightmare game mechanic.
I think what I imagined it looking like is that like it's the thing where the guy is like playing the game. He's in a really nice living room that nobody has, and the camera pans across the like triggers, and then it zooms in on the triggers, and all of this is in slow motion, and then it like zooms out of the triggers, and then it pans across from the other direction, like that kind of like too much attention.
Okay, I'll allow that. Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about that one actually now. Trevor, what do you got for us for your second prediction?
So I'm gonna kind of take one that is kind of a spin-off there of Renee's a little bit.
Ooh.
Gran Turismo 7 is announced with a significant focus or too much attention on the PS5 surround sound immersive audio and the DualSense controller. Quote, putting you in the driver's seat like never before.
Oh, if they use that quote,
nice.
Trevor, you know they will. You know they'll say that. Oh my god.
Oh, I know. It'll be the most proud point I've ever gotten in any of these kinds of predictions if they use that exact pull quote.
It makes you feel like a Gran Turismo driver.
Y'all heard of racing? Because you're about to. Yeah, that's annoying. You're gonna get that point.
Yeah.
When was the last Gran
Turismo
game?
Sport was I want to say like 2016, 2017.
Yeah,
Sport. Ooh. That game was not
would have been
great.
even earlier than that. So yeah, it's definitely time for one of those. Yeah. And again, racing games is just an obvious launch title because you can show off just how pretty everything looks.
Yep.
All right, I'll allow it.
It's a game I definitely wouldn't have thought about if I wasn't doing predictions, and then I googled like what are the Sony first party studios? Oh, which one's this? Oh, Polyphony. I don't know what they do. Oh, they're the Gran Turismo studio. Oh, I'm gonna do a Gran Turismo prediction. that was literally my thought process behind all of that.
Yeah. My second one, also not games related. The PlayStation 5 will be released the week of November 10th, but it will for sure come out before Christmas.
Thanks for that. Genius. I want to try and capitalize on the holiday sales rush.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Who would have thought?
I do appreciate that. Like, basically, I had two of your two predictions so far. I had combined in one.
I'm just trying to. I'm getting these points. Yeah. I mean, it's obvious. Like Trevor said, they're going to get it out. I think. One thing I almost added on, but like it felt really really hard to kind of nail down, is that like I do think it's possible, especially depending on like where like the like Corona and everything is at, like when they're kind of really ramping this stuff up, is that they will do like the launch on like pretty delayed tiers. Like it might be just like Japan, North America, Europe get it out on like November 10th, and then like South America, the game doesn't come out, whatever, or the console doesn't come out until like January, February. Like I thought that was like a possibility, and like almost tried to like work that into a prediction, but like it added a lot of like extra complexities to it, and so like I didn't want to get too complex there.
Yeah, I looked into
look at supply chains.
Yeah, I looked at that a little bit when I was coming up with my prediction, because the PS4 released in North America right before Christmas, released in the European territories right after that year, and then it didn't release in Japan until February of the following year. So they definitely did a staggered launch.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense in regular times, like you said, but let alone with everything kind of extra complex right now. Like I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I wanna highlight real quick because I tweeted about this like a week or so ago, back when like the original event was positioned. If at this point, if the system comes out anytime after, I want to say like October 23rd now, it will have still had a longer, like, announce to release window than the Nintendo Switch did. So if it does come out in November, like we're talking about, it will have had a longer marketing cycle than the Switch did. And yet everybody's like, they need to have announced it. We've never known so little going into this. I'm like, the Switch did it in less time a couple years ago.
Switch turned out fine.
Everybody will be fine, yeah.
To say nothing of the fact that the worst selling PlayStation console of all time still sold 80+ million consoles, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually, Trev. Cam, what is your third prediction?
My third prediction is they will talk about teraflops.
All right. I'll put that down.
Also, they'll also discuss its storage capacity. Its storage capacity will be 5 terabytes.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Okay.
I think that's very ambitious.
Sorry, let me rephrase it. It'll be anywhere from 1 to 5. There we go.
There's the BS prediction.
Okay, all right.
I forgot to put my coverage in for that.
Yes, it's guaranteed it'll be minimum, at least 1.
Yeah, because right now the top tier storage is 1 terabyte, so I figured that'll be like a baseline, and then from there I'm like, what would be like, kind of like if they shot for the moon? I'm like, if they shot for the moon, they'd get 5, but if they land among the stars, it'll be 3.
All right. I mean, yeah, especially with like how much people are so excited about teraflops. Have you heard about them after Xbox?
I honestly don't. I don't think. I mean, as a side bet, if we do bets, I don't think they'll mention teraflops.
Ooh.
We got to come up with a better measurement.
I'll do a Portillo's bet with you, Cam, on that. If they do say and discuss teraflops, I'll buy you Portillo's. If they don't, will you buy me Portillo's?
100%.
When we're allowed to do Portillo's again?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I kind of like that bet as well. Keep that in mind.
Well, you got to come out here and get that Portillo's.
God, I'm trying. I love Portillo's.
I had it on Saturday.
Awesome. Rene, did you really? I got distracted for a second.
Yes, we celebrated my parents' anniversary a little late, and so I went and picked up Portillo's and took it over to the family.
Yeah, Portillo's. God, Rene, have you ever had Portillo's?
I have not. I thought y'all were trying to say tortillas, and I was really concerned about you guys.
We're from Arizona. We know how to pronounce tortilla.
You have to go back to Spanish class there, man. You're really butchering it. Portillo's is so good. Yeah, it's basically like it's hot dogs.
It's gourmet
hot
dogs.
Kind of, classic kind of American like hot dogs and like burgers, I guess, if you want that. But like they're really, really like very good.
Who the hell gets a burger at Portillo's? That's like people who go to
I've
get the
seen
salads.
People do it, and it's wild. Their chocolate cake also is like incredible. It's so good. I think the closest one to us outside of Arizona would be like Chicagoland area, Rene, which is kind of the tragedy, but it's very, very good. Rene, what is your third prediction?
Y'all might take this away from me, and if you do, that's okay. I'm gonna say one word: Spyro. I think there are rumors, and the reason I say you might take it away from me is because there are already kind of rumors that there might be a new game, but what makes this kind of specific is that I think they're going to announce the game along with it'll be a release game with the console. That's my prediction. Oh yes, a launch title.
Launch title. Okay. Is it a remake of like the first Spyro? Or is it something completely new?
No, well, they already did that. They already made their remaster of the original trilogy, which are truly the only games that matter. But no, I think it's going to be a new game.
Brand new story. All right. I actually thought briefly about a Spyro thing as well before I gave into a more exciting third prediction idea. But no, I mean that's. People would be excited about it. Tim Geddes would be excited about that. I think Barrett Courtney is a really big Spyro guy as well. Cameron or Trev, either one of you care about Spyro?
No, but I can confirm that Barrett Courtney is, in fact, pretty hype about that Spyro.
Yeah. Trev, you like Spyro?
No, I never played it.
Wait, y'all know somebody named Barrett Courtney?
Yeah.
That is a cool ass name.
He's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool guy. Yeah.
Oh, shout out! He just got married, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
congratulations, Brett Courtney.
Him and his wife are both amazing people. Friends of the show for sure. I like this prediction, Rene. Do you wanna have like what the name of it might be?
Well,
I think it's just Spyro.
Okay, yeah, I guess I got to do that. Fuck. Well, do I get, if we're doing bullshit points, do I get like for each word that is in the right place?
I mean, if they announce a Spyro launch title, I'm already gonna give you like 0.9 of the points out of 10, kind of like out of 1 full point. Like if the name's not right, if you want to go for the name, you don't have to go for the name. You can just stick with what you got.
No, I'll do it because damn it. It's gonna be something along the lines of shit. I didn't prepare for this. Spyro, Dragon's Fury or something like that. Oh, God, okay. Whatever. We'll see.
I'm putting Dragon's Fury.
Yeah, Dragon's Fury. Like it. Yeah, or maybe it'll have something about fireworks. Who knows?
In exciting news as well, Frank just messaged me back. So we have Frank Pisani's predictions as well. That whenever we get through me and Trev here with our third predictions, we'll start running through Frank's as well to mock him while he can't defend himself. Trevor, what is your third prediction?
All right. Well, I absolutely know which one I'm going to use as my fourth. So I'm trying to figure out now.
Okay.
I've got a few others here to pull for my third. And I'm going to go with there will be a Spider-Man PS5 tease. No date given beyond maybe 2021. The main seller will be only on PlayStation 5.
Okay. Only playable on PS5, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. No, like, kind of tease of when it's coming out, just here's like a snippet, like 10-second teaser,
like
30-second tease of Spider-Man.
I will predict the tease is you see Spider-Man and Miles as Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Like you see both Spider-Men swinging around the city.
Oh, that'd be sick.
You think it'll be called PlayStation's Spider-Man?
No.
I hope not. I sure hope not. This is one of those times where it's like, man, I hope that I lose this point and you get this. I want it. I want this Miles, Peter Parker, Spider-Man game together.
Do y'all think that they'll ever do sort of what they did with Batman and like call him the Spider-Man? Put the in front?
No, because I think that there's like a very firm definition of the Batman versus the Spider-Man. Like the Batman.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, it'd be like that's.
Oh, you're right.
There's amazing in front of it.
Yeah, you're right.
There's amazing, spectacular, phenomenal, like all the different adjectives they put in front of it because it's
Amazing Spider-Man. Not a very good Spider-Man movie though.
Truth.
It's all right, I guess.
I thought Garfield was a good Spider-Man though.
Yes,
good Spider-Man,
I think again.
Terrible Peter Parker.
I think
you can't be that cool and expect me to be like, yeah, you're definitely a loser. Like you're literally the coolest guy at your school. What are you even trying to convince me?
I think you're putting a lot on him as having been a cool guy at his school just because he can skateboard.
Skaters are cool. Again, that nerdy side has approved the fact that skaters are cool. Skating anything is cool.
Yeah, like you can't also. The only bad thing about him is that he's kind of creepy with how he takes pictures.
Oh, I've not seen the movie recently enough to verify that statement.
Yeah, he gets kind of creepy when he's editing like Gwen Stacy's photo.
I think it's impossible to like develop photographs in a homemade red room and not look creepy as hell.
Not look a little creepy. To be fair,
that's fair.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point. Yeah.
Valid point.
Yeah, I want this so bad. How like on a scale of like 0 to 100, like what % likely do you think this is, Trev?
I think it's likely and I mean the reason I kind of like really put the caveat of like it's not going to come out anytime soon is it's like I think it's likely because I think they'll want to reinforce that Spider-Man is here on PlayStation. You can't play Spider-Man anywhere else. Spider-Man is like the #1 selling game on the PS4. So So I think that it makes sense to really try and highlight whatever you can. And the fact that like the first things we heard about the PS4 were how great Spider-Man or the PS5 were how great Spider-Man PS4 runs on it, seems that they really want to like connect Spider-Man with the PlayStation brand. So that's why I think they'll include just and again, it'll just be like a tease to kind of like reinforce Spider-Man on PlayStation 5. It's the only place you can play it.
Okay. I like it. I want it really badly. For my third prediction, I'm finally getting to the games, and it's a two-party one, which is the fact that Batman Arkham, or whatever Rocksteady's working on, is not revealed during this event. Sorry, Barrett Courtney.
That's such a bullshit. Like, oh, this isn't going to be there. That's like me saying Halo Infinite will not be at the PlayStation 5 event.
But the big tease is that Jack and Dexter will be. Something involving Jack and Dexter will be at this PS5 event. It's whether it's a remaster, remake, brand new game, something from Jack and Dexter is going to happen at this event.
Yeah, okay. I still call like bullshit on the like tying that to Arkham will not be there.
I think we're just kidding.
And I will say, like, if the WB Montreal Arkham game is there, do you just completely not get a point for this?
If WB Montreal has a thing there, I'll put. Yeah, I'll double down. Rocksteady / WB Montreal will not be there. I'll double down. Will not be there. But Jack will be.
I didn't end up going with this one, but one of my potential predictions was one of the Warner Brothers rumored projects will be there. Either the WB Montreal Arkham game or the long rumored like Wizarding World Harry Potter Hogwarts game will be there.
Dude,
but I'm going with that one.
Oh yeah, I want that.
Again, I've talked before about the fact that like that's my dream video game, if it existed, was basically just like a giant like open world like set in Hogwarts and like Hogsmeade like RPG at like the school, obviously, but it's like you get to go through like a full year of like your first year at Hogwarts and then like your second year and your third year and your fourth year, and it's this giant game that like you have to go to class. It's basically like Bully but set in Hogwarts. You have to go to classes. You have to have like these interactions with your friends. You build your own character. You get sorted into your own house. You go play Quidditch or not play Quidditch. You like collect chocolate frogs, and like based on like the scope I have in my mind, it's probably like the first 4 years are one video game, and then like they make a sequel whenever how many years down the road, and it's like 5, 6, and 7.
So just like they did with the Lego Harry Potter games.
Yeah, I mean honestly, because it's gonna be so big, right? And like you can't go to Hogsmeade until your third year, like that kind of thing, like. But it's just this giant Harry Potter like RPG set at Hogwarts.
Have you seen the rumored leak thing in the last day or two?
I haven't. What's the rumored leak?
Ooh.
The rumored leak. I don't know how much like credence there is to put to this, but it was. I want to say it's called like Hogwarts: A Dark Legacy. Ooh. Takes place after the time of Harry Potter, like after the books, but like those characters still exist in the world and will be in the game somewhere. And you are a transfer student to Hogwarts, transferring in your 5th year. So you're already an established wizard, and it kind of helps. You don't have to like start from the ground up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know too much more out of the details, but it talked about like Quidditch is playable, and yeah, you can go all around the grounds and all sorts of stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd be very curious about that. Yeah, transfer. Ooh, okay, so maybe. Okay,
that's interesting because that's in direct contrary to previous rumors where it's taking place in like the 1920s, 1930s.
Yeah, that's the rumors I heard.
Yeah, I thought that was like the mobile game that ended up coming out.
No, the mobile game takes place in like what you've described, the post.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not talking the Wizarding World mobile game. I'm talking the other one, I guess.
The Hogwarts mystery one.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other one for mobile. I've played both. There's the one that's the Hogwarts Pokemon Go ripoff, and then there's the Hogwarts Mystery, which is like basically like an RPG game, and it's very good. But it takes place post the Harry Potter franchise, I believe. So.
Yeah. Okay.
The other, the one in the 1920s and 1930s was the one that the leaked footage came out a while back, like years ago. It was like early alpha footage that got leaked.
That just reminded me. The rumored Dark Legacy game would include a Nemesis style system.
Ooh. That's another like big aspect of my like dream Harry Potter game too, is the fact that like you have you own like Nemesis, you own like Draco Malfoy, a guy that you hate, and like you have your own friend group of like the equivalent of like Harry and Ron or like a Neville kind of thing. Like you have like, again, you're just building your own world, your own Harry Potter story over these like 7 years that you get to like live out. And, like each year takes a good chunk of time to like go through. You actually kind of like hit in the big like opening ceremony and like the Halloween, like I guess not Thanksgiving because it's in the UK, but like Christmas and all those kind of things, like fleshed out stories, like, and your own Nemesis system as well.
If there had a Nemesis system, it only would work if you could kiss them as well as hate them.
There is rumor of a romance stuff in the game as well, but yeah.
If I can't make out with my Draco Malfoy, like XP example, Nemesis, whatever, then like what's the point?
And this game is just gonna have everything: Quidditch, makeouts.
Given the size and scope of this leak, it's probably not at all real.
But also considering like the emphasis and like structure that freaking Logan set up with about what he wants.
I mean, that's why I preface it by saying like this is my dream game that I've talked about for years. Like I want like this giant, massive like Mass Effect equivalent, like Mass Effect and Bully, kind of combining these things together, like video game. I'm like, I recognize having said that, like, it's very likely we'll ever get what I want, but that's what I would love.
I mean, one of the longest like video game pitches I've been like making has been a Quidditch VR game.
I know, and it's such a cool pitch too.
Dude, that would make you dizzy as hell.
Yeah,
I'd be all about
maybe.
it.
But I mean, no, I'm all about it.
But your prediction had nothing to do with Harry Potter, so.
Yeah, my prediction actually was not about Harry Potter. Jack and Dexter will be there in some capacity, and Rocksteady / WB Montreal won't. To Frank's predictions, we'll run through his 4 real quick because we're all about through our last ones. Frank says, Logan, you're incorrect. WB Montreal's next game will be revealed, and it'll be an early PS5 title releasing after launch. No, I think he's wrong. That's what I think.
All right, what else did he say?
Will be there after launch. And in addition to that, he said they will reveal at least one revival or remaster of a dormant Sony IP.
Ooh, so that means that Spyro can't count for it, or Medieval, or any of those, because they just recently put out remasters for them.
That's a great point, yeah. Or like, I guess you could do. Where does? I would argue Ratchet's not dormant.
No, Ratchet and Clank can't. Yeah, we had one on PS4, so.
Yeah, we had a Ratchet on this last gen. So.
I'm not. Yeah. So.
Which, by the way, that is a gem of a game. If you haven't played it.
It's such a great video game. And I'm like, I feel like we're not like maybe gonna get a sequel to that, but it's
that's okay.
So great.
It was meant to be a movie tie-in, and it's fine.
Yeah, it got overshadowed because Uncharted 4 came out like 3 weeks later or something like that. I remember specifically there was a brief 3-week window where my favorite PlayStation 4 and Xbox One game had both been done by Insomniac. It was Sunset Overdrive and Ratchet and Clank, and then Uncharted 4 came along, and I was like, well, goodbye, Ratchet and Clank. You were nice.
And my favorite game was still Ratchet and Clank at that point.
I think it ended up being my either my second or third favorite game of the entire year. That game is, as somebody who like never played a Ratchet game before, that game is real good. Then Frank also has the actual PS5 console is shown off. Frank's really going on a limb on that one. Yeah, okay. And then his final prediction is no price is announced. No price from Frank. Which...
That seems egregious.
That'd be shocking, actually.
Frank says no price some. He says y'all are wrong. Cameron, what is your 4th and final prediction?
My 4th and final prediction is that the console itself may not be shown physically. However, they will debut at least a render of what it will look like.
God, there's so many caveats to this.
Because like there'll either be a photo, or it'll be a 3D model of it, or they'll have it in like a video. There will be something representing what the console will look like, and also.
So I mean, like, what do you mean?
It will be white.
What would it being physically there? What would that look like?
It won't
if
be
it's on stage,
yeah,
if it's on stage.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not going to be a stage
This isn't a stage
show,
thing.
Right.
It's a pre-recorded like direct type thing.
That's a
why
great
it's a
point.
good
Yeah,
What's pointing that out? I didn't think about that. So never mind. It'll just be there. It'll show up in some capacity. It will be there. I'll counter Frank. There we go.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
But also,
Console will be shown.
it will be white.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
I mean,
Have they ever had a white?
No,
launch?
it's a strong departure. I mean, they've had like specialty.
The gray
ones.
one, I guess. Yeah.
Like
just-
I remember the original Destiny PS3 was white.
I feel
Reason
like that
I
would
say
look
this is because
real nice, actually.
the key art for
'Cause
the
the
console
DualSense?
or the DualSense has been white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that is a clue that that is going to help differentiate between your PS. Because here's the thing, I don't think the design, and this is just not even a caveat or for bullshit points. It's just a point that I would make is, I think that the design will not be a strong departure from the design of the PS4. I think it'll be very similar, and so in order to give it that kind of oomph of separation, so as to not suffer the Wii and Wii U effect.
I think it's gonna look very different for that reason.
I think design-wise, like structure-wise, it will be very similar. However, in response to that, it will be white instead.
Okay.
So you know it's different.
We'll see. Rene, what is your fourth and final prediction here?
All right, closing it out.
I'm ready.
Not for everybody, just for me. So yes, it is going to be a virtual event, obviously. I think we are going to have a not satirical, not ironic, not a joke. Either is my mic on, or somebody forgetting to unmute themselves.
Okay.
I mean, it's a weird thing to keep in a pre-recorded event.
Oh, right.
So that's the thing, is that I know that a lot of this is going to be pre-recorded, but I feel like there's still going to be, like, they're going to try and, like, go for, like, someone talking, they're going to try and do it on the fly. And this could blow up in my face. I could be absolutely wrong. I could be wrong right now. But you know what? I'm sticking to it.
I mean, yeah, okay.
I like it. Double down.
Yeah, I mean, I can't undo it now. I gotta stick to my guns.
I've already written it down in the doc. I can't take it out of this now.
That's true.
I mean, you're here.
I'm pulling up from the PlayStation blog. Now that the event is confirmed for June 11th, I wanted to add that this pre-taped program will be broadcast at 1080p and 30 frames per second. This eased the show's production process during a time when many of our team and developers are working from home. The games you'll see on Thursday will look even better when you play them on PS5 with a 4K TV, as you'd expect. So, yeah, the like they make a point in the promo post saying it's a pre-taped thing. So
you could switch your prediction to maybe it is an ironic or sarcastic moment.
Oh, did I say non-ironic? No, I totally meant ironic. I mean, I totally.
Oh, okay.
I totally.
Okay. Yeah.
No, guys, you're wrong.
As a joke, I'll add at the end.
It does immediately go into. It's also best if you watch while wearing headphones if you can. There's some cool audio work in the show, and it might be harder to appreciate if it's pumped through your phone or laptop speakers. So maybe that cool audio work is a goof about a mic being left on.
Is my mic on? Guys, can you hear me? Guys?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that as a final one. Trevor, what you got? What's your last prediction?
All right. Throwing this back in Cam's face.
I love it.
Knack is back, but not in Knack 3. He's back in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. And we get a trailer featuring Kratos, Nathan Drake, Aloy, Joel and Ellie, Sackboy, Ratchet and Clank, Cole, Delson, Spider-Man, and Cloud Strife. And, of course, Knack. but like it gets introduced with like Knack coming in, and it's like a tease that, oh, is this a Knack 3 announcement? No, it's not Knack 3. It's Battle Royale, All Stars Battle Royale 2.
That's like a Super Smash Brothers level troll.
Exactly.
I'll have you.
That is all Knack is good for, is trolling the world.
I'll have you send me over all those names you just said for the actual prediction. But
oh yeah, this is absolutely my like bullshittest of bullshit, because I'm gonna get like 0.1 for any of those names that show up if this thing is real.
I know that you make Emmett Watkins happy because he's the biggest PlayStation All-Stars fan I've ever met in my entire life, I think.
Yeah.
It's that thing of like, I want there to be a PlayStation All-Stars 2. I just go back and forth on if I think it'll actually happen.
Yeah, I feel like the last generation was so strong in terms of introducing or reintroducing characters.
Sony icons, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that it seems like a prime opportunity for them to revisit the idea and try and bring it back.
All right. I like it. I want it. Trevor's got good predictions, and I don't like that.
I mean, for the record, I don't think that one's gonna come true at all. But I wanted to go big and bold for my last one.
It's a year of dreams. All right, we're gonna get it. My final prediction. Do I want to go fun, or do I want to go one that I think will happen? Get me a point. It's tough. I'm gonna say. I want it. I want the point. 6 or fewer games will be shown off during the showcase. Is my final prediction. Playing it safe. 6 or fewer games.
I don't know if that's playing it safe. I feel like the original PlayStation 4 event had like over a dozen at least.
Will be shown off, not counting games in a sizzle reel.
Okay.
So like they're going into like deep into details on 6
or
fewer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel good about that. So there we go. Those are the predictions from the 4 of us plus Frank, who could not be here, but will still nonetheless compete for the crown and the first ever predictions.
I have real quick.
Here.
I want to share the 2 that I have that were not taken by others or just as random ones. One of them was they will have a partnership with EA announcing and presenting the Mass Effect Trilogy remaster.
Ooh.
And then the other one was there will be a PlayStation VR showcase featuring Moss 2 and Astrobot 2.
Ooh. Awesome. Moss. Yeah. I wonder how likely the Mass Effect remastered one is. I mean, where are we at with Mass Effect at this point? Where is that series status at after
Andromeda? Not in a great place.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like it just left it alone and like don't even touch it with a stick now.
I mean, it's something everybody wants, but at the same time, it's a question of whether or not EA, like, I don't trust EA to be wise enough to endear themselves with goodwill to that point. When they have after like, I don't know if like, I just don't know what direction EA is going in.
Yeah.
With a lot of the decisions they end up making, if the only way it works is if they can somehow get a massive profit off of it. If they can see it as a massive profit leader, like, then for sure I think that's a possibility, but it has to be like a surefire thing, because Mass Effect is like, the name Mass Effect is mud for EA right now after how Andromeda performed.
I'm curious too,
and that's why like it would be going back to the games that everybody loved, and everybody has been clamoring for a remaster this entire generation.
And that's fair. I think that if they can make the math work internally for themselves, there's a good shot at it. But I just don't know what those conversations look like inside of those offices.
And they'd
I'm
also
curious, what do we want from that too? Like, would you want them to make a sequel to Andromeda even at this point, or do you want them to just like essentially reboot the series again?
No,
I mean,
I don't know.
it's Andromeda was a very, in my opinion, very forgettable game that wasn't made any better by the fact that it got rushed out and needed a lot more polish at the last at the end of the runway. But so in terms of like what I'm looking for, it would be just give me a nice up-resed way to play through the Mass Effect trilogy, so I don't have to go back to my PS3 and play them.
And honestly, if you include all the DLC from all of the games, you get the director's cut version of Mass Effect 3, which has the endings as like you can tell they wanted to do originally. To say nothing of like the time crunch they were in by the time that game was about needed to come out. So, like for somebody who's as much of like I was not a fan of the original endings for Mass Effect 3. The director's cut solved basically every complaint that I had about it. It's like to the point where it became like a true like actual gem of a game, like masterpiece of a game. So,
and it's the idea of the remaster is reinforced by their financial earnings call at the end of like last month, I think, where they basically, or maybe it was about a month ago, where they basically said we've got 14 things in the pipeline, including an HD remake of an EA game. So that was that people were like, oh, is that finally going to be? Because like especially early on in this generation, EA was very much like, we're not going to do remasters. We don't see a point in doing remasters, but they've been coming out with a whole bunch of remasters recently, including Burnout Paradise, and then just like yesterday or something, Command and Conquer got remastered. So yeah, they've seemingly loosened up on that a little bit. So seems like the time might be right for bringing back Shepard.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I would have been curious to see. I understand why you didn't, because your picks are you wanted to win, but that'd be a really interesting one. And maybe I could actually finally play Mass Effect and have thoughts, and people would stop yelling at me. Yes, there's our predictions. They're all over the place, and I love it. We will see this Thursday. What time is it at again, Trev?
I want to say it's 1 p.m. PST, so yeah, 1 p.m. over here, 3
p.m. for me and Rene. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and our plan is we'll sit down. We won't do like a live reactions or anything, but we'll sit down and record kind of a special That News You Care About afterwards.
Yes.
That we'll try and get out Friday morning.
Yeah, and have all of the predictions, or as many as we can, tallied up for all of you as well.
What do we win if we win?
Well, you win the undying love and adoration of all of our fans.
Hell yeah.
And also, you win a gift card to my heart.
Good. I need that.
Not like the full cash value, just a gift card, but still. That's the show. For shoutouts, I have one, and then I don't know who dropped in the Mashrin Mortal Kombat.
That was me.
Thing.
Yep.
Trevor. So we were talking about those. Mine is just like a really weird, fun one, which I really liked.
The almost B story for this week's
episode. The almost
episode?
B story before we ran an hour plus into this. And it's Red Dead Redemption 2 fans hunt for the real John Marston. With the subheader, one of gaming's most recognizable faces is changing, by Patricia Hernandez over at Polygon. And it goes into like the weird story of the fact that like over a series of updates, John Marston's face is like slowly changing in Red Dead Redemption 2. And they're like super minor like touches and things that are occurring, but like his face is like a little different, and how there's like a subset of the Red Dead Redemption 2 community who is very upset about this and are like refusing to update their games, and they're saying like a host of things are better, like the original version of the game has better visuals and lighting, faster load times, that there are more characters in towns, more animals in the wild, fewer glitches overall, but also the main reason is because it is a near perfect John Marston, to quote one of the people within the community. And it's just a really weird thing, and it's also, I love how Patricia talks about the fact that like as games increasingly become more of a like continuing thing, these characters and these kind of stories and these worlds that we know and love potentially are ones that are going to, just like the actual world, be ever-changing in kind of small incremental ways, and how some people, most people, the vast majority of people don't even notice the changes, but there are community who get very vocal and mourn what once was within the world of Red Dead Redemption.
In a weirdly similar thing, I mean, at least similar in my mind, or at least it sparked in my mind. And I'm curious, Cameron, because you are the Destiny expert. Obviously, this last weekend, as we're recording, they did the big first in-game live event where basically the Almighty blew up, and the Almighty was like where the end of the base game, where it ended, like you did missions on there. So I'm curious, like with it gone, can you just not even play like the original missions of Destiny 2 anymore?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay.
No, that was just I'll be honest, that
non-canon.
No, it's canon, but like the missions themselves are kept within the campaign. So as long as if you do a campaign level, you can still go back and do it. The location isn't gone. They put the model as it sunk closer and closer to the city, and then Rasputin blew it up. And what might just be like, it felt like it was going to be this big moment, and then they were late on it.
Oh yeah, no, it was terrible. I actually logged in and tried to partake in the event, and it just took so long, and I was like, I've got to go pick up Portillo's and take it to my family, so I was not able to stick around for it.
It was not the most ideal thing. It was like, it's cool that they did it.
We don't need to get into it. I just it reminded me, or it tied into this idea of like the game is now fundamentally different theoretically, and as you know, also with Cade gone, basically it's like, hey, if I
that's the biggest thing is Cade.
If I just came into Destiny 2 now for the first time, am I still going to see Cade in like the tower at least until I reach like that certain point in the game, or what happens there?
I mean, in the case of that, you actually don't get access back to the tower till after the campaign, so it doesn't necessarily. But actually, that's a good question. I don't know if he's in his location. If not,
yeah, right, yeah, weird.
Hadn't thought about that.
Trevor, what is your story that you want to give a shout out to?
So Brian Cashner is a friend of the show, friend of the Kind of Funny community, and NetherRealm developer. He was very excited, and has been for months, if not, I guess about a year now, that he was going to do a GDC panel talking about the tutorial mode for Mortal Kombat 11. And GDC got basically canceled / postponed, and he just today, actually, his digital version of that talk that he was originally going to do at GDC has been released, so I'm including that. Mastering Combat, Designing Mortal Kombat 11's Empowering Tutorial Mode GDC Talk by Brian Keshinger of NetherRealm, and it's basically a YouTube video that is available to anybody, so you can go check that out. And he talks about kind of his... I started to watch it, I haven't gotten through the whole thing, but I wanted to give him a shout out there. He starts out kind of going into his like pre-working in the industry background with fighting games, and how he would constantly feel like they were just had such a terrible learning curve that he would always basically bounce off after like the first month or so. And so that was one of the reasons they really tried to strive and build a tutorial that kind of introduces you the basics, but also gives you the, you know, the keyframe elements that you know, the pros might be trying to really study and track. So and as somebody who played Mortal Kombat 11 late last year and checked out a lot of that tutorial, I was like, oh, like this is a really good like way of onboarding me into the fighting mechanics and all the different, you know, ins and outs of that game before diving into the story mode and stuff. So yeah, I wanted to give him a shout out because I know it's something that he's been super passionate about for many months, that originally looked like it might not happen, but he got to make it happen after all.
I love that. I'm very excited to check that out, and Brian is just a great guy. So all about that. Everybody go check that out as well. And with all that said, that is the show. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed all of our predictions, the wild, the crazy, the cheap ones that we could get a point off of, and everything kind of in between there. Hopefully you have your own predictions. If so, let us know. Tweet us at That Nerdy Site on Twitter, and share your predictions, your thoughts on some of ours as well. If you want to tally them up, that'd also be great. So me and probably maybe Trevor don't have to bicker about what the breakdown's going to be.
We don't have a Morgan Mitchell, but Brandon Gann, you might.
Brandon Gann, do you want to be our Morgan
with
Mitchell?
this.
Yeah, and forget the point system here. That's a great point, Trevor. Yeah, everybody loves Brandon. Friend of the show for sure. If you want to break down the points, I would love you even more. And yeah, if you did like what you listened, you can go support us over at patreon.com/thatnerdysite. Like all of our wonderful patrons have, including Jason Bellevue, who we already gave a shout out to on one of our podcasts that me and Trevor recorded earlier. This is the third one we've done in like 24 hours, so they all was just kind of, it was one of them, but who we understand is kind of in a bit of a medical kind of emergency situation. So we obviously wish our best and hope that he will have a speedy recovery and will come out all right. Thank you for your support, Jason, all of the lovely people who have kind of donated to That Nerdy Site and help keep the lights on, help keep all the shows going, including this show, which would only be possible with that support over on patreon.com/thatnerdysite. You can also go rate, review, like, and subscribe on all kinds of different podcast services around the globe. It really does help for new shows like this one. If you can go over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, leave a review and comment, say nice things about us, it'll really appreciate it, and it'll make Brandon Gann happy, and boy howdy, doesn't that boy need to be happy. You can find Cameron on Twitter at Rev Cabot. Is that right, Cameron?
Yeah, Rev Cabot.
Rev Cabot. Do you have anything to promote, tease, shout out?
Yeah, look forward to a pretty sizable announcement in the next 2 weeks, I think, is what I have planned out. So,
ooh, a little tease.
Yep, it'll be exciting.
Very excited about that. Rene, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, I'd love it if people yelled at me on Twitter. It's Rene, Rene, and then 4591. Nothing really to shout out right now. I just wrote a story kind of going over the Bioshocks, how I think they're pretty prevalent right now. So that's on my Medium. You can find me using the same handle.
It's very good. I read it. I liked it a lot.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very good. It's very, very, very good. You can find Trevor at Trevor J. Starkey on Twitter, and I think everything else pretty much. Trevor, what do you got to shout out?
I will shout out from Monday this week. That Nerdy Site show was all about The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Logan, Frank, and I sat down and kind of we all replayed it recently, and so we kind of did a nice little look back retrospective of that game now 7 years later in anticipation for the sequel coming up. And then from Tuesday, tomorrow as we're recording this, yesterday if you're listening to this, Logan and I sat down and talked about The Haunted Mansion on that D Plus show, so you can check out both of those shows this week.
Both are excellent suggestions. You can follow me at Lefty Logie on Twitter, and I echo what Trevor just said. Again, this is the third podcast in like 28 hours that me and Trevor have done. They've all been very, very much a great time. The Haunted Mansion one in particular was just a wild, fun time. So go check that out. I had a lot of fun talking that movie with you, Trev. And then The Last of Us spoilercast. I mean, again, it is the exact opposite. It is a long, like 2 hour long, it felt like almost, maybe a little bit longer actually, podcast about this kind of seminal video game, reflecting back on it from kind of its release 7 years ago to now, and looking ahead to The Last of Us Part 2, which will come out in just a little over a week now. And yeah, it's my favorite game of all time. I had a blast talking about it with you and Frank. So go check out both of those things. And stay tuned to more Last of Us coverage, I'm sure, coming from the site. And then also be excited to tease, a future tease. Be excited for, the post-show reactions and thoughts we have from the PS5 reveal event this Thursday, which, like Trevor said earlier, will go live hopefully on Friday morning. You can find That Nerdy Site at That Nerdy Site. We have all kinds of podcasts, shows, reviews, features, opinions, everything out there on the internet. So go check out all of those. A lot of good podcasts have been done recently. I think we're in a really good run. And yeah, stay safe out there. Play your games and be kind to one another. Pistol Trevor's sign off.